Okay, we're starting the build of your door. I happened to find this old file. The whole animation is not complete, but I think it's interesting how the door appears, so I thought I'd share it. Just a quick, command return. So, very original. Thought I'd just share that with you. Meanwhile, let's get a file started for you to build. I want you to have a large stage to work with. So, let's double our usual 640 by 480. So, 1280 by 960. It's going to fill the screen, and I'm going to go to 12 frames per second, but if any of you want the challenge of going to 24, give it a shot. Create. Now, when I say this is going to fill the screen, it won't be just this little window showing if I do command return. It gives you a big viewing field. So I want you to really take time to, first of all, design the door for an original look. So I'm just going to zoom out so I see everything. Now, when you're going to design that door, of course, you want to know the environment. That's way too small. Let's increase it just enough. Okay, just for demonstration's sake, let's just go with a regular old rectangle. Now, I don't know what size, I don't really even know what shape the door should be because I didn't develop an environment or a background yet, but just to show you the mechanics of it. If you create the basic shape of your door, and then, of course, select it, right-click, and convert it to a symbol, and certainly call it door, keep it a movie clip, click OK. Your door is now over here in the library. Now when you build the animation of it opening and closing, the opening and closing will happen here in the main timeline. And let me label this door 1. But the design, the look, all the details, that double click, that is going to occur inside the symbol edit mode. So don't build the entire look of your door in the main timeline. Turn it into a symbol, and inside that symbol, go to town, develop your door. But once you have created the look of your door, whatever shape, whatever size, color, detail, then exit back into scene 1, which has your main timeline. And I think let's I'm just going to go out about 60, maybe even more, 70 frames. And I am going to just add regular frame, not keyframe. You shouldn't see a little black dot in there. It's regular frame, okay? So we have one keyframe with the look of the door, which you will develop inside the symbol edit mode. And then in the main timeline, you have all of this. We're going to, just like with the walk cycle, we're going to use a motion tween. Right click, create a motion tween. Now, how many frames is it going to take for you to animate the door to open and close? Well, the slower it goes, of course, there would be such a thing as too slow, but the slower it goes, perhaps the more anticipation you build. So maybe 25, 30 frames to open the door. So I'm putting the playhead ahead to 24, 30 frames. 30 frames. And I'm going to grab my free transform tool. So I get the handles for resizing and reshaping. Now, if I am hinging a door on the left, I want to anchor it on the left. So I'm going to just drag that anchor point to the left side. And now I'm going to bring my door over and then bring it down. So right now, I have just opened and closed. Now, it's going to be hard for me to actually close the door again because I have no framing yet for the size. So I don't actually know how long, how far over I'd need to bring that door. Okay, door 1, and I'm going to call it open. And let's backtrack just for a moment. Your file, I'm going to expose the layers just a little bit more. Your file should have all layers inside folders. Okay, folder 1 is where you're going to put all the layers with the door. And it's going to make sense to have the door folder on top of the second folder, which is the background, the things that are going to show inside the door. So I'm just going to drag that file up. So now I can open and close the folder. The reason for this is organization, because you're going to end up with a lot of layers and you're going to constantly be scrolling up and down to find the layer you want to work on. And by having them in folder, you can condense and open. Okay, so let's make another folder. This folder, I double clicked on the folder name and I'm just going to call it background. You can have more folders. You just must have at least those 2 folders. Now, everything to do with the background, the animation that's going on inside, should be in here. So any layers with that, I'm going to bring the door back to frame 1. And I am going to, first of all, let me bring this back up. It's a lot of moving around, especially when you're using a small screen like I have right now. I'm just going to grab a rectangle, and I don't know what color I want. I'm just going to, I'll do brown, and I'm going to shut off the outline. I don't want an outline or a stroke. So I've selected it. I'm going to go in and select the little red line to turn it off. And now of course, I need a new layer plus, and that new layer I want in the background. Okay, so I'm going to grab that rectangle, start at the top, and now I have a background color. However, if that door is opening and closing, I still don't see the framing. So you're going to want to identify the edges so that when that door opens and you're trying to figure out where to close it to, you know where your edges are. So you could do traditional if you want to do traditional. I'm just going to grab a green. You could go in and actually create a physical frame around it. It depends what kind of door you're doing. But let's just go here. But you don't want to add anything that's going to cover the inside of the door, not at this moment, because when we